Good afternoon everybody, and welcome to another video from your best boy, Untitled Travels. So everyone, today I'm on the Peter and Paul Island. I did make a video here before, so it's very nice. Got some ducks splashing around. Right everybody, so yeah, here at the Peter and Paul Fortress, Easter Monday. So it's been quiet for the last couple of days because of Easter. People take Easter seriously here in Russia, especially in St. Petersburg. Also today, everybody, unfortunately the Pope has passed away, so I pass on my commiserations to the Catholics out there. But don't worry, there's going to be a new one soon, all right? And yeah, I hope they choose a younger one this time, because they keep choosing these guys who are in their 70s or 80s or something like that. Maybe they should start choosing them about 40 something, you know, old enough to be pretty wise, and then they're not going to die so often. Yeah, everybody, so it's not so spring-like today. It's not bad. It's a little bit brighter than yesterday when I was doing the live stream, I think. But also later in the week, there could even be a bit of snow. Okay everybody, so I'm not going to prattle on, okay? Let's get down to the topic of this video, and let's talk about why I love Russia, okay? Because sometimes I get some comments on my channel from people saying, Untitled Travels, why are you going to Russia? They've been told by their government-controlled media in their own country that Russian people are the spawn of Satan. And Russia's a bad country. And that absolutely convinced everybody that if they went to Russia, then, you know, they'd be bundled into the back of a van for absolutely nothing. They'll be taken to the Kremlin dungeons. They'll be held there. And then it'll be all over CNN. And yeah, they'll be stuck in the Kremlin dungeons for a few years. Anyway, everybody, there are some people that you just can't convince. You can show them what it's like in Russia. You can tell them, and it doesn't matter. You could have lived here for, 20 years, and you tell somebody it's safe, some Western person it's safe, or not even Western, from some other country, and they just won't believe you. They'd rather believe somebody off CNN or NBC or CNNBC, BBC. Right, everyone, so I like to spend my time in countries where I'm received the best and I feel most comfortable, okay? Now, many of you will know that prior to spending time in Russia, I lived in Ukraine for a long time. I was there for pretty much 10 years, okay? Okay, not the whole time, like a few winters I buggered off to Southeast Asia. But let's say in total it's probably about 7 years or something like that. And I tell you what, everybody, I like Russia for almost exactly the same reasons as I liked Ukraine. Don't know what's going on here, everybody. Maybe one of these dog competitions, but there's just a couple of crows here at the moment. Is this supposed to be a helipad? Yeah, maybe it's a helipad, I don't know. Yeah, everyone, so at the moment many people are being told that Ukraine is this virtuous land with virtuous people, and Russia is the exact opposite. But anybody that spent time in both countries will know that they're pretty much exactly the same. Things are pretty much the same here in most ways, and despite what some people will try and make you believe, the people are pretty much the same too, just some nuances, let's say. The difference is, it's probably even less difference between the English and the Scottish, for example. Yeah, everyone, so I'm going to tell you why I like to spend my time here in Russia. It's not going to be in any particular order though, but I'm going to go through the main points. Now, first of all, everybody, I like to spend my time in beautiful places. Now, there's not much good news about Russia these days coming from the West. They won't tell you how beautiful St. Petersburg is. You have to go to social media to get an idea of what life is like here, but it's Spending your time in St. Petersburg is an extremely uplifting experience, and this was a little bit the same for me in Ukraine. For the lion's share of my time in that country, I spent my time in the western city of Lvov. So yeah, a very beautiful city, and you walk outside your door every day and you feel like you're in Wonderland, you know, and it's very uplifting. Because to get an idea of how lucky, I mean, you take it for granted after a while, don't you? But then you go to more Soviet places, you go to somewhere like Novosibirsk in Russia, and although Novosibirsk has its charms, you wouldn't really call it a beautiful city. It has some beautiful buildings, but on the whole, it's a real kind of Russian city. So there's a lot of industrial stuff, very big and brash buildings, so not the same at all. All right, everybody, I don't know what's going on at the moment. I was trying to walk down by the river by Peter and Paul's over there, and there's a big construction project going on and I couldn't. And now I thought I'd come in this direction to walk down by the river, and again, there's a massive construction project going on. So yeah, I notice there's a lot of this construction going on in St. Petersburg at the moment in the rest of the city. So maybe they're preparing for summer, or maybe there's just a construction boom here. So I could go across the bridge, everybody, but it's pretty noisy, so I'm just gonna enjoy this tranquil spot down here. Hope there's nobody cottaging around the corner here. So everybody, I was telling you about the beauty of St. Petersburg, of course, but we're talking about Russia today, not St. Petersburg particularly, and there's a lot of beautiful places in Russia. Beautiful cities. So there's a lot of cities with beautiful architecture. So you got St. Petersburg, you got Russia, Moscow, where else? Sochi, different down there. You got a different climate. Nizhny Novgorod, I haven't been there, but I want to. You got this golden ring around Moscow of beautiful cities. I've been to Veliki Novgorod, that was very nice. So lots of beautiful places. And if you don't have beautiful architecture, you're in more Soviet cities, then you can have beautiful nature. I mean, look at Kamchatka, like, what's the main city in Kamchatka? Kamchatka Pavlovsky or something like that. And if you look at it, it's just Soviet blocks built in the middle of nowhere, but around you is astounding beauty, so it doesn't really matter that much. So everybody, this topic kind of brings me on to the next topic, because what I was going to say is you've got all this for an absolute bargain price these days. I mean, St. Petersburg is pretty cheap compared to a lot of countries at the moment. So now is the best time to come, because when this war is over, a lot of investment's going to be flooding into the country. You've got multinationals that are itching to get back into the Russian market. And, you know, the economy, some people predict it will get a lot stronger, and yeah, it could become a lot more expensive here for tourists. So yeah, everybody, cost of living, it's pretty cheap here. I mean, not, you know, third world cheap like India or, I don't know, Philippines or something like that, but cheap. Not everything is cheap, but generally most things you'll find are far bit less than most places in the European Union, the UK, America, Canada, Australia, whatever. So let's say very affordable here at the moment. Now, I don't like to refer to myself as a digital nomad because I'm not actually that nomadic these days. I spend a lot of time traveling around the world, and I found the best spots for me. So this is what I was talking about earlier, finding the places that tick all the boxes, or tick a lot of boxes for you, because nowhere's perfect. So I like to spend my time in Serbia, Russia. I'm up for going to other places, but I can't be bothered like traipsing around the world like I used to, so I stick to what I like best. So yeah, of course it's nice to live in affordable countries where your domestic currency goes further than back home. So most things here are cheaper than in the UK. Accommodation a lot cheaper, public transport a lot cheaper, foods mostly cheaper, food, restaurants cheaper, utilities are much cheaper. I mean, gas, electricity, internet, all those things. I mean, people just leave the heating on all day long here. They don't give a damn. But everybody, don't come here and expect to be, for it to be affordable for a long time, you know, because anything can happen. Because those of you who know, some of you may know that about 20 years ago, Moscow, for example, was the most expensive city in the whole world. So we don't know what's going to happen in future. So yeah, you can't expect it to always be affordable. But yeah, at the moment it's good value. Anyway, I don't want to blab on about that topic. I'm going to be making some cost of living videos in the future. Very soon I'll be doing a supermarket tour video, and we can see how the prices have risen compared to my previous visits. Alright everybody, so I come back down here to the fortress because it's quiet. Looks like Easter's well and truly over, and it's very busy today. Anyway, so we're going to talk about safety next, and Russia. Don't listen to what you hear in the Western media. Russia is a very safe place. Like on the streets, especially, you're not. It'd be very rare to get yourself into any bother here. Nobody's going to mug you in the street. Very rare, I'd say. You don't have to worry about walking around at night as a woman in most cases. Okay, if you go to some more you should be, you know, exercise some caution, let's say, you know, normal caution, but there are areas of the city that are not no-go zones like you have in cities like London or Paris, but a little bit more sketchy. Yeah guys, so people are very safe here, and it'd be also uncommon for you to get yourself into a fight unless you're behaving silly, because I find at least Russians to be very calm people, not usually aggressive, but obviously if you rile somebody up, then anything can happen. So everyone, I only had one incident in my whole time in Russia, and it just happened to be when I was on a night out with Mr. Bold. So yeah, we're in some bar, and the locals obviously thought Mr. Bold was a homosexual. I don't blame them for coming to this conclusion. Many people who have met him in the past have come to the same conclusion. And let's face it, he does look like the third edition to Right Said Fred. Yeah, and that wasn't the first time, everybody. I had that situation with the bald fella. Another time in Armenia many years ago. He almost got beaten up by a local mafioso guy because he thought that Bold was hitting on him. But generally it's very safe for those sort of people here in Russia, everybody. St. Petersburg's a very liberal city, but bear in mind, there is a law now against LGBTQ propaganda, so you know, don't do anything provocative while you're here. Now, another type of safety is a little bit different, is road safety. I am going to be making a follow-up video to this video, everybody, talking about things I don't like in Russia, and the driving standards are definitely going to be high up there. Now, everybody, the next topic we have to talk about is the ladies. Now, pretty much everybody knows the reputation that Russia has for ladies, arguably some of the most beautiful in the world. So, yeah, we got all different types here, everybody. Blondinkas, brunetkas, got short ones, tall ones, a little bit chubby ones, skinny ones. So, but they're all, generally speaking, very pleasant, very feminine. and a pleasure to share your time with. And everybody, they're not so feminist here like they are in the West. So St. Petersburg's a bit of an anomaly because it's the most liberal city in Russia, but even the feminist types in this country are a lot more pleasant than the anarcho-feminists in the West. So yeah, not nearly as bad. Unlike in the West, everybody, nobody's trying to drive a wedge between the men and the women here. So you're free to exercise your masculinity as you see fit. It's a great country in which to be a man. Now, generally speaking, everybody, it's a polar opposite of how it is in the West here with the ladies. So generally speaking, the more you behave like a man, the more you'll be appreciated by the local ladies. Now, not only the attitude of the ladies here, but also, of course, the appearance. Very beautiful, can be very beautiful. They look after themselves. They dress smartly and ladylike in many cases. Not only the attitude is better here with the ladies, but also the appearance, of course. The Russian ladies have got some nice genetics, and they take care of themselves, so they're not overeating like their Western counterparts, some of their Western counterparts. They dress very smartly. Generally speaking, they're all pretty much well turned out when they're out and about, so there's no walking around in supermarkets in pajamas and Crocs and stuff like that. Now, another thing here, everybody, ladies are very approachable and polite, so I'd say it's pretty easy to get acquainted with the ladies here, but you know, that might not necessarily translate into something positive long term, because we have to take into consideration divorce rates are high in this country, like 70%, some of the highest in the world, and there's also other things to take into consideration, like cultural differences. You know, we might find courting these ladies a challenge due to these cultural differences, and also the language barrier. I mean, unless you speak the language to a significant level, then it can be quite tough going. Now, everybody, let's talk about the people in general. I find them to be very good here. They might not be as outwardly friendly as in other countries, but I still think they're good. So, yeah, it's not like in Southern Europe, you know, where it's all smiles and hugs. Or some other parts of the world, they have a bit of a low trust mentality here. So they're not so trusting of strangers, and it takes some time for this situation to improve. But the more time that you spend with Russians, the more rewarding you will find. So they're not going to invite you to their house, you know, the first time they meet you, like in some countries, for a cup of tea and a biscuit. If they invite you to their house, then it's a big deal, and they're going to put on a big spread. So, yeah, and I find them, what I like about people here is they're very calm and even-tempered. Now, in some countries, it's not like that. Now, in my native Serbia, for example, people are very friendly. They're very warm, very friendly, but you know, they can also flip and they can be a bit crazy. So, but Russian people, the temperament's like this, but in Serbia it's a bit more like this, so you have to watch out. So I find people here very calm, even-tempered, polite, and I like this, to be honest. Okay, they're not smiling all the time, but yeah, obviously the Russian smile has been talked about a lot. Many people will say that in countries like America, it's not a genuine smile, they're just showing their teeth like a hound or something. But I don't know, I suppose I'd like it sometimes if Russians would smile a little bit more, or like half a smile sometimes, but because they do quite scare me, to be honest, I have to admit. Yeah, when I meet Russians for the first time, they're usually very polite. They're not obnoxious at all. not arrogant or something like that. So yeah, it's all good. Being followed by these pigeons, everybody. I think there's some of these spy pigeons I've heard about. Got listening devices inside them, tracking what Tall Travels is saying. Another thing I like about Russia, everybody, is the weather. I know that sounds strange, but when the weather's good, it's good here. So in summer, it's actually very sunny here in St. Petersburg, and you have some beautiful skies. The sky is an amazing blue sometimes, like in the evenings, and white, fluffy, low clouds. It's really spectacular. And the air quality is pretty good here because it's a windy city, so it blows all the crap away. And now I have to be honest, my favorite time to come to St. Petersburg is not actually the summertime, it's a winter time. Because I love the snow, everybody. Okay, it's not always nice. When it's fresh, it's nice, but when it's slushy, of course, it's unpleasant. But I don't know, I just find it very atmospheric in wintertime, very beautiful, and you have less tourists here in wintertime. Accommodation prices are lower, so I think this is one of the best places in Europe to come in wintertime. Now everyone, those are the major points so far. Maybe my last one is going to be, I don't know how I would label it, but I like the fact that Russia has not been destroyed through multiculturalism like pretty much all Western countries have, or most of them. So they've got a strict border policy in this country. We don't let, Russians don't let boatloads of lawyers, doctors and engineers come into their country every day, and don't make their taxpayers pay for them. So yeah, that's one of the major reasons why it's so safe here. So Russia's a very multicultural country. It's a huge country. It stretches all the way to Vladivostok, which is near Japan in the east, and you've got hundreds of different ethnicities and cultures, but I find Russia to be a more united country despite all these differences than most Western countries. So everyone, I feel absolutely fine and dandy being a white heterosexual man in this country, which couldn't be further from the truth back in the West. So nobody's going to talk to me about the sins, the alleged sins of my ancestors or something like that. Like I said, I can behave like a man here, and nobody's gonna condone me for it. Everybody, so this country's sensible. They don't discriminate against white people like they do in the West. So I'm going to be talking about this in a future video. I'm going to be talking about the state of my country and how badly it's deteriorated. I've broached on this subject before, but in this video I think I'm going to be going for the jugular. Okay, I think that's it for this video, everybody. I don't want to blab on all day, but those are the major points why I love coming to Russia. So I advise all of you, if you're thinking of moving from your own country to somewhere else, perhaps you just try a few places out and see which places are best for you. And for me, this is definitely very comfortable, and there's other countries I love to spend time in as well, like my native Serbia. I feel very comfortable there too. Okay everybody, so this probably addresses some of the comments I get on my videos sometime asking why I come to Russia. So yeah, I've outlined why I come here, and if you don't like it, you can shut up. Okay everybody, so thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next video. Take care and happy Easter.
Я вот, ну, ешь, как нормально совершенно.